Happy Friday. Joan.
Yes, sir.
What in the world is going on with these pranks? I heard your news story, and I know that there was some reporting on this yesterday, but it really got my attention. So this is in what county?
Sumner.
So in Sumner County, you've got the juniors and the seniors, and they're trying to out-prank each other?
I think that would be the appropriate way to phrase it, yeah.
So do we know what they're doing? Like, I mean, you said something about flour. I mean, when I was a kid, Sam's here, of course, and when I was a kid, the worst thing I did was ding-dong ditch, maybe toilet paper.
Right.
But you said that they were spray painting cars. Do they not know that is actually vandalism?
Yeah, and there have been some kids are charged with felonies for doing those things.
Welcome to adulthood.
Yeah.
Why would you do this?
It doesn't make any sense. The flower thing. So a bunch of kids went to retired Hendersonville Fire Department Division Chief Jamie Kostler's home. Now, they had on, I'm assuming that they're like these other kids with masks, all dressed in black, and they go to his home. They were going to prank it with flour. He doesn't know what they're going to prank it with, but he catches this 16-year-old girl as she's trying to run off, puts her in a chokehold. What are you doing to my house?
Yeah.
And he gets charged with a felony assault charge, aggravated felony assault.
Was she wearing a mask and all that?
I don't know.
It looks like it in the video.
So
it looks like, but what they keep, they take her face and they try to use a screen to make she's young, so you're not allowed to see who she is.
Oh, got it.
They've taken her identity out of it.
Listen,
you can't really tell.
Dude has no idea, and I don't know the circumstances. I'm just digesting this story now.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know what is going on. He has no idea that these are just kids pranking. He doesn't know what they're doing.
Right.
And this is a fire chief?
Former fire chief.
Former Hendersonville fire chief?
Yeah.
I mean, he has no idea what's happening. And as a fire chief, he's seen a lot. And I'm telling you, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago now, where some ding-dong ditchers, now the homeowner in that case was wrong because he shot that kid in the back. I think that was in Texas.
Yeah, he came out down the street.
Yeah, he came down the street. But this is dangerous for those kids.
Yeah.
And I don't understand. What would they do with flour? I don't even know.
That's a good question.
You know what? Hey, take the phones off hold, if you would.
There you go.
What would kids do with flour for a prank? Because I honestly don't know.
Like if you dump it in flower beds, dump it in the yard, it gunks stuff up, goofs things up.
Flour does?
It'll stink if it gets rained on.
Man, somebody throws flour in my hydrangeas, there's going to be problems.
Oh, man. It's good
you want to
thing
talk about a chokehold?
Stop it.
That's why you need a Chris Hand laser-targeted drone.
That too, matter of fact. So I don't know.
And so it's kind of ugly now.
I don't think this Gallatin former fire chief, whatever it is, Hendersonville. I don't know. Should he be charged?
He was charged. I mean,
I know he was, but should he have been?
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that it just sucks. You'll have to see how it plays out in trial.
Right.
But apparently, according to Gallatin PD, they've been investigating class wars for weeks. And the father of the girl said, well, these things have been going on for 20 plus years. My parents grew up in Sumner County. I have a lot of friends that grew up in Sumner County. This is the first time I'm hearing about it as a Middle Tennessee resident of 29 years.
According to the arrest affidavit, the fire chief, former Kostler, not only restrained the girl, but also struck her in the face.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's a no-no.
Well, okay, it is, unless he's defending himself or his property.
Right. And he put her in a chokehold. That's what the chokehold part is why he was.
Now, if he's got her in a chokehold and then punches her in the face, well, again, he does not know that she's 16. She's wearing a mask. I don't know if she's wearing a hat. Does he know that? Not that it should it matter that it's a girl? I don't know. Anyway,
she's dressed in all black, just like the other kids are. They're in all black, hoods up, masks on.
From the looks of it. In the video, there's that mailbox, that like multi-unit mailbox that typically indicates you're in a new development that's really close together and everything's right there.
Yeah.
He may not have actually been on his property at the point that he's trying to grab a hold of them.
They may have been off his property.
They may have been down the street a little ways because that looks more of like a public, cul-de-sac area at that point. So that's going to be a factor in things. If it was directly on his property, that'd be a slightly different story. But again, to Joan's point, you're covered up. It's dark. He has, to your point, Dan, he has no idea who they are or why they're there. And obviously, he's not finding what's happening funny.
Kostler not only restrained the girl, but also struck her in the face. Investigators documented bruising on her neck and leg, and the teen told officers she nearly lost consciousness during the incident. What is it? FAFO?
That's what, that's what I'm thinking too.
That seems like it's you know what it is, Joan?
And why are they pranking him?
It's an FAFO Friday.
Yeah. Oh.
James Comey.
Yeah.
Christopher Wray.
Mm-hmm.
These idiot
George
kids.
Soros.
George Soros is another one. I am so glad that Trump is doing this. Oh, he's going after his political enemies. Who gives a crap? If his political enemies are breaking the law, and if the allegations against George Soros and Alex Soros and the entire Soros clan are if those allegations are true, then they deserve to go to jail.
Yep.
Political enemies or not.
To piggyback off Ben Shapiro's point, there was an understanding in this country that we didn't go after our political adversaries for things like that until they opened the door for it.
Well, they certainly did, and they opened the door by going after Donald Trump. And can I ask a question? So why would that be, I don't know, Washington, D.C. code that you don't go after your political adversaries for doing things like that? If they broke the law, then there shouldn't be a code. They should be held accountable.
Hillary Clinton.
I guess, you know what? Up. So Trump, that's true. Donald Trump let Hillary Clinton go, even though he himself was engaged in the, lock her up chants and all that kind of stuff. And he let her go. Pissed off a lot of his supporters, by the way.
I think he got it this time around. I think he understands now that isn't the way to go.
He gets it. That's the thing. He let Hillary go. He basically said, I think she's been through enough by losing the election. And then he lets her go, and then they come after him 50-fold.
Yeah, it's just
with the dirty dossier.
Someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
There you go.
That line, that was awesome.
Such a great line.
Yeah.
And so, for me, I love that Trump is doing this. And the left, you know what they're doing? They're hiding behind this notion that Trump is going after his political enemies, as opposed to the charges and the accusations against James Comey, against Christopher Wray, and against the Soros clan. So I think, and by the way, and if you folks don't know what I'm talking about, James Comey has now been indicted. He's supposed to turn himself in today. I've got a full thing on it. Have you seen the memes? Because remember 8647? Remember that whole thing?
Yep.
Have you seen the memes out there with the shell formations?
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, my goodness gracious. They are very, very funny. My favorite was the shell formation that did say FAFO. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So I don't know. I want to know what's going to happen to this guy. I don't believe that he should be charged. Lord help them, if I'm on a jury in Sumner County, which I wouldn't be because I live in Wilson County.
Yeah.
But I'd be not guilty all day long.
See, then the prosecution's going to point out that, the duty to protect your property ends at your property line.
You don't know that he's off his property, though.
That's the thing. We don't know all the details.
Right.
I will say I'm making assumptions based on my extensive experience delivering packages in neighborhoods that particular screen grab of the video shows him to be on a public sidewalk.
Ooh, somebody said they also put the flour in your gas tank.
Oh.
And destroy your car.
Yeah.
Suddenly now, Sam is all for the headlock and the striking of the face.
We've got, as a great man once said, we've got laws in this country that we need to abide by. And the law would be, okay, you ruined my car, I'm going to sue your parents into oblivion and get a new one.
Well, and here's the other thing, and I don't know the law. Your parents are both both attorneys. So if somebody comes on your property and does something abhorrent, flour in the gas tank, flour in the flowers and the bushes and all that, then are you allowed to chase them to catch the person? You're saying no. You're not allowed to chase a person, catch them, and hold them for police. And if they're struggling, you're allowed to contain them. It's in a headlock.
It's an extremely gray area, because if you're making a citizen's arrest, you better be damn sure there's witnesses to prove what you're claiming is happening. The other thing you do, you chase them down, you try to get their identity, you reach out to the community. It's unfortunate that that's the pathway to do things, but it prevents people from being hurt and shot. And so you take your retaliation out in court.
You know what's so funny about that, Joan? If you want to prevent people from being hurt and shot, maybe you ought to make sure they're not doing stupid crap at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Falls back on the parents.
Yes. But you know what else it does? It also falls back on these moronic kids, because they know at the age of 16, this is where I'm going to sound like an a-hole. They know at the age of 16 what's right and what's wrong. They know.
They do.
16, 17 years old, they know the difference between right and wrong. And if they don't, then why the hell are they doing it at 1 o'clock in the morning? And why are they running away?
So Super Texter 6048 said when he or she was young, they put 30,000 plastic forks in somebody's yard for a senior prank. Do something like that.
Or you prank, in my experience, you prank the school. We zip-tied everybody's locker shut.
Yeah.
Or people put saran wrap around stuff, harmless things that aren't going to cause property damage.
We went to the opposing team's field, spray painted over their symbol, their emblem in the middle of the field with green, so it looked like it was the grass. And then we put our M for the Mustangs, mainland Mustangs.
That's classic.
Yeah. So we made their field our field. And honestly,
I could see that in Fast Times of Ridgemont High.
Right.
Yeah.
Big deal.
And you know what I don't like? I don't like when you mess with teachers. Because, oftentimes a teacher might be targeted in some of these, pranks, which is not cool, because teachers don't make a lot of money.
Yeah.
I've heard that teachers have been targeted too. And I don't care how unpopular a teacher may be. These poor teachers. And I know that there's a lot of people that don't like teachers. There's teachers unions, so I get it. But the rank and file teachers don't make a lot of money. And they're also spending a lot of their own money on classroom supplies and the like. And so I don't like when teachers, after a long year of trying to help students and deal with their, parents and that whole thing, then they're targeted for pranks where they've got to clean out 30,000 forks off their front yard. Sam.
No, that was Joan.
Oh, Joan.
It was a super texter that said that they did that. And
super texter.
The super texter also said, we recorded them, and it took them 6.5 hours to get the forks out of their lawn. I think that's hysterical.
You do something worthy of some good old-fashioned community service. Don't destroy somebody's property or overtly deface something. It's one thing for Joan to deface the opposing high school's field.
Yes.
It's another thing to deface someone's private property, and a public servant, no less, that spent years of his life dedicated to the community, responding to emergencies. You're going to have a very hard time convicting somebody like that in court.
Let's see here. Teachers don't make a lot of money, but that's the life they chose to live. Touche 97.97.
Those who can't do, teach.
Is that true, Joan? You think that's true? Those that can't do, teach?
People say that all the time. I mean...
Is it true, though?
It was one of my basketball coach's mantras.
Really?
He was not a very good basketball player. He was a hell of a coach.
I know some people in radio who
come on, Joan.
Didn't do it very well, and they're teachers now. They teach communications.
My radio teacher. This is so funny.
Boss, go ahead.
My radio teacher in junior high. I forget, not junior high, junior college.
Yeah,
I can't remember his name, but he had never been on the radio. He had never spent a moment in a radio station.
How do you do that? Honestly,
I don't know.
That's ridiculous.
It was the weirdest thing. It's like he knew all about the FCC and all that kind of stuff. Howard something. But, and he had sort of like a fine voice, whatever. What's so funny? He was one of many. Oh, this is so funny. He was one of many who said that I would never make it in broadcasting.
You taught him, didn't you, Dan?
Oh, he's dead now.
Oh.
I wish he were alive to see me today.
Put that Marconi on his headstone.
You know what? You know what's so funny about
Take
this?
a picture.
And I'm not going to go on and on about myself today, but I think yesterday's 8:35 was quite enough. But for those of you who missed it.
Having fun without me.
For those of you who missed it, go back and listen to yesterday's crisscross handoff. It was one for the ages. But both my broadcasting teachers in junior college, which I never graduated from.
You and Charlie Kirk.
And my broadcasting school that I also never graduated from, I'm noticing a pattern.
Yes.
All of them said that I would never make it in radio, and here we are.
Oh.
40 years later, and I've been working in radio. I kid you not, nonstop, 40 years I've been doing this.
That's
you know
incredible.
Here's the thing, though. Like, if I was encountering me at the age of 17 and I wanted to be on the radio.
Yeah.
I sounded like Mickey Mouse. I did. I literally sounded like that. I've got air checks of me as a traffic reporter in Los Angeles. I would have fired me day one. But somehow, despite the fact that both my broadcasting teachers and the LA School of Broadcasters, all of them said I'd never make it, there were others who did have faith in me. And there were times that I should have been fired and I wasn't. And they guided me, they helped me, and they let me gain the experience needed to ultimately be where I am today, which is a morning host in Nashville, which, isn't all that great of shakes in the overall scheme of things. But you know what? I'm happy, and I love Nashville. And I love working with Sam, and I love working with Joan. And everybody else, most of the people, some of the people I've worked with as well. Hey, look at the time. It is 5:23 on Nashville's.
We didn't do traffic.
Hey, Joan, anything going on in traffic?
Just a crash in Rivergate on Gallatin Pike North at Maya Drive. Done.
Well, that's Sumner County. So is there something, is this part of a prank? Are they pranking us out there?
I don't think so. Not this early.
Okay, very good. I still want to know, Google, maybe we'll do it for later, but Google all the different ways you can prank someone with flour, if we could. So Lipscomb Academy here in Nashville. Joan, I don't know if you've heard of what happened there, but the day after, now this is a Christian academy.
Yes.
And you have the day after Charlie Kirk's assassination, you had a bunch of students. I think this is high school level, right? So this Christian school, Charlie Kirk is assassinated the day after the assassination on September 11th. You had a bunch of kids show up dressed in Charlie Kirk type attire, jacket, red tie.
Yeah.
Do you know that the principal, Jesse Savage, hunted them down and forced them to take that clothing off? I don't understand why he would do that. Like, they do have a dress code, I'm assuming, at Lipscomb.
Yep. That was their justification. I
cannot believe a Christian academy would do that. This is from the Tennessee Star. Lipscomb Academy, a Christian school in Nashville, confirmed to the Tennessee Star that upper school students were not allowed to wear suit jackets and red ties on September 11th to mourn the assassination of Charlie Kirk, stating the students did not have permission to wear clothing items that deviated from its dress code. Do you know that if I were the principal and my son or daughter wanted to dress like Charlie Kirk the day after his assassination, knowing what Charlie Kirk stands for in the Christian community, I would be really proud. What I certainly would not be doing is hunting these kids down and forcing them to change.
I think that that principal's politics overcame his Christianity.
I don't know. You think he is a Christian? I'm just saying.
You would think you would think that the leader of a Christian school would be a Christian.
You know what I've learned over the years, Joan, is that Christian schools don't always behave like Christians. That's what I've noticed, including this case.
Yeah.
While the school initially told the Star on Tuesday that students were eventually granted permission to wear the formal clothing on a later date, the Lipscomb Academy spokesman confirmed under further questioning on Wednesday that this did not take place and instead said the students voluntarily opted against wearing jackets and ties in favor of planning a still upcoming chapel service. Now, later on in the story, they do say that while Lipscomb University did say that the kids would eventually be allowed to wear the jackets and ties, it turns out there's parents that say that that is actually a lie, that the school never agreed to that. And I don't understand why. I don't get it. Are they that control freakish that these kids show up in a suit and tie? I mean, do you know that when I was in high school, I don't know if I'd ever worn a suit and tie. And then Charlie Kirk is assassinated, and these kids show up in a suit and tie, and you force them to change? That is crazy. From the article, parents of Lipscomb Academy students disputed both series of events offered by the school, telling the Star on Tuesday that their children, part of a group of about 20 students who sought to publicly honor Kirk's legacy, listen to this, were tracked down by faculty and forced to remove their formal attire, and that the Christian school has not addressed the impact of Kirk's killing with students to date. This is the age range where they were deeply impacted by the death of Charlie Kirk. If you were a high school person, young adult, you knew who Charlie Kirk was. You knew how influential he was to your generation. And a Christian school, Lipscomb, didn't teach them or help them through their feelings. I remember when there was a kid in my high school, and she was hit by a car, got killed right there in front of the high school. Very sad. And there were counselors there to help the kids through the grief. Not only the kids that saw it happen, but her friends and so forth. So I'm stunned that Lipscomb, according to the story, didn't have any way for these kids to overcome their grief. And the only thing that they got from the principal and from the teachers is a mandate to change clothes. And again, you'd think that they would be proud. And they didn't do anything to address the impact of Kirk's killing with students to date. One parent says, I was shocked when I heard that the head of the high school, Jesse Savage, targeted young men at school for wearing red ties and suits in honor of Charlie Kirk, the mother of one of the students telling the Tennessee Star, these boys were peacefully honoring and paying respects to a Christian leader that has impacted their growth in faith and family. The student body feels attacked by Mr. Savage because he intentionally disrespected them and the ministry of Charlie Kirk. Another Lipscomb Academy parent, a father, telling the Star his family has been involved with the school for more than a decade, corroborated this series of events. This guy says, and this is a quote, when my children came home and told me that Principal Savage had rounded up the boys who were wearing red ties to show their love for Charlie Kirk and demanded that they take them off, he says, I couldn't believe this was happening at a Christian school. Literally, the day after Charlie Kirk was murdered. Oh, but wait, there's more. Principal Savage even sent an email to the faculty telling them to send any kid wearing a red tie to his office, the father claimed. He targeted them specifically.
What a pansy.
I'll go a little further. What a jackass. I mean, are you kidding me, really? Do you know what I'm disappointed by? I'm disappointed by the fact that there were only 20 students that did this.
Yeah.
I mean, kudos to those 20. Take the phones off hold. I'm just curious if people, anybody has a comment on this. If people want to call 615-737-9986. The principal sending an email to the faculty, obviously including the teachers, telling them to send any kid wearing a red tie to his office. The father claimed he targeted them specifically. Once assembled, the Lipscomb Academy parent said the students pleaded with the head of upper school, Jesse Savage, but that their requests fell on deaf ears. Now the Star is reporting, the parents are saying the parent body is calling on Dr. Candace McQueen, the head of Lipscomb University and the academy, to immediately terminate Mr. Savage from this institution.
What's your name and where you...
Now, your mic is on. There you go. You know what's funny about this, Joan? So apparently the school has not, and I'm getting text messages too. Yeah, I know. Lipscomb does wear a uniform. They got school uniform. But, I mean, do you think that it would be one of those situations where they could have, I don't know, let the dress code go for a day? And so now you have all these people that are saying that Jesse Savage, the principal, has to be fired. Apparently, he's actually been promoted. Yesterday, they promoted him. Lipscomb Academy upper school parents. This is from Lipscomb Academy to the parents. As part of our commitment to achieving the goals outlined in the next level strategic plan, specifically goal 4, blah, 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 Jesse Savage has agreed to step into a pivotal role as director of academics. So in other words, he's no longer, Jesse Savage is no longer, I guess, the principal. And now he's this, and I'm air quoting, director of academics. And I don't really know what that means. They say that it is a pivotal role. It sounds to me like they're kicking him upstairs because he's got a contract.
How many times is a new position a pivotal role that you just created out of thin air?
Right. To ensure a smooth transition, Dr. Savage will continue to serve as the head of the upper school until a highly qualified individual is identified to lead our students and faculty in grades 9 through 12. Well, the reason, I mean, it's clear that Jesse Savage, the principal, if the story is true, he is no longer qualified to lead the students because he has lost the students. This is Anthony on line 1 on WTN. Anthony, I don't know. What do you think about this story?
It's an absolutely disgrace of a thing to hear from a Christian school. And I'm not saying I'm not out and about. I believe heavily in the Christian faith, and I'm just not a Advent and religious follower, but it's most certainly been a revival these last couple of days, but that's another story. It is disturbing to see that, and I hope that more community members that are Christians also take more active part into the governance of our society. Because as you can see, we're being governed by a bunch of crazy people, and it needs to change immediately. That's all I want to say about that one.
Anthony, thank you very much. We're being governed by crazy people. I think that includes the folks at Lipscomb. Just unbelievable. And you know what? Again, kudos. I would love to. You know what I'd love to talk to? I would love to talk to one of those parents who, you know, because if you are a parent of a kid and your kid comes to you and says, "Mom, Dad, I want to dress like Charlie Kirk tomorrow." I mean, they've got to go out and they've got to get a red tie and a jacket, right? Because how many 9th through 12th graders actually have a red tie and a jacket? So I love, and by the way, again, not to belabor the point, the school says that there was a designated day later on that the kids could wear the red tie and jacket. The parents are saying that never happened. So you got parents that are claiming that Lipscomb is lying about all of this. And, you know, sorry, but I believe the parents. I don't believe anything that Lipscomb has to say, a Christian academy, and I get that. But if these accusations are true, that they literally hunted down these students while they're in class, they had to pull the students out of class and told them to take off the tie and the jacket. OMG. So I agree, and I believe the parents. Let's see what Bob has to say on WTN real quick. Hey, Bob, what's up?
Yeah, hey, So what happens if next week the kids want to wear hoodies to honor George Floyd, or the following week they want to wear something else to honor Martin Luther King Jr., or where does it stop? You've got to have rules, because once you open that door and allow them to wear what they want for what they believe in, you've got to open the door for everyone to wear what they want for what they believe in.
I think it is within a private school's right to have this on a case-by-case basis. I don't think... Yeah. Go ahead.
That's tough. That's tough.
It can be
a church, and we have a public meeting room.
Yeah.
We can't let people from outside our church use it, because once you let one organization use that room, then another organization that you don't agree with, an LGBTQ or whomever, comes up and says, "Well, you let the young Americans use that room, so you've got to let us use that room because it's a public room." It's a slippery slope, and there's people out there that'll push it.
Yeah, but again, this is a private Christian school, so they're allowed to set the rules. But you know what, Bob? It's a fair point, I suppose. This is John in Nashville on WTN. Hey, John.
Hey, morning, Dan. So I'm a huge Charlie Kirk supporter, and I like the idea of what the kids wanted to do, but at the same time, I feel that it kind of goes along with the whole microwave culture of, well, I got to have it exactly when I want it. Like, there was nothing wrong with following what the school wanted to do and saying, hey, we'll let you honor them later when we say you can wear it. There's got to be, as our man Trump likes to say, we got to have a little law and order. They're just trying to set some rules. And it's our normal kids' society these days, and parents running to their defense of, well, you didn't let my kid do it exactly when they wanted to do it. They were told they wasn't supposed to do it, and then they were called out for it.
Well, John, hold on, John. They actually were not told in advance they could not wear. They took it upon themselves to honor Charlie Kirk. And so I think part of, John, what I'll say is this. I think part of a school's responsibility, a private Christian school, there's a reason why the parents are spending the money sending their kid to a Christian school, is because they want their kids to have a certain kind of perspective taught to them. And I don't think that there is anything wrong. These kids ought to be congratulated. I don't think there's anything wrong with these students showing up to honor a great Christian and a guy who is advocating for the same values that are taught at Lipscomb. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I get what you're saying, John. I don't agree with you. I think these kids should have been congratulated. Last one on this. This is Sharon in the borough on WTN. Hey, Sharon, go ahead.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Well, first of all, Lipscomb is a Church of Christ school. And nothing against every person in the Church of Christ, but I grew up in it my whole life. Both sides of my family, way back, my grandfather was a Church of Christ minister. And let me just tell you, I got out of that because those people are so dang controlling. They're control freaks. Most, I'm not saying all of them,
right,
but many of them are just really control freaks.
It does seem, and I mentioned early on in the monologue, that it does sound rather control freakish. It does.
Yeah, it is. And those kids did the right thing. I think they did great.
I think they did too. I get what the guy was saying about, well, if you let them wear this, then, what happens if somebody wants to wear, I don't know, a Hitler mustache. You know what? If somebody wants to wear a Hitler mustache, then if they want to expose themselves like that, go right on ahead. You know what I mean?
This is different with Charlie. Charlie was a Christian, not a Hitler.
Well, right. Now that's what I'm saying. Yep.
Yeah.
No, you're right. He was advocating for the values that Lipscomb University should be personifying. Last call on this, I should say. Ronnie is that Manchester? Winchester on WTN. Hey, Ronnie.
Hey, I'm definitely a Charlie Kirk supporter. And I get the students want to, and I probably would have been one of the students that wore the tie, but I just want to let you know that also keep in mind they have attorneys on these school boards that guide the decisions of the staff.
Attorneys ruin everything, don't they, Ronnie?
They do. That was just my statement. Remember, they have attorneys in the background that make a lot of these decisions.
All right, Ronnie, thank you very much. You know what I call attorneys, Joan?
What's that?
Damn attorneys. Like, there's no such thing as an attorney. They're all damn attorneys, except for Sam's parents. I apologize, Sam.
Hold up there.
All right. It is 5:54 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99. That was fun.
Yeah.
Taking calls again in the 5 o'clock hour.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. And I haven't even touched my official news stories of the day. Do we know why Pete Hegseth
This is my first story.
has called all of these generals and all of these highfalutin military people back to the Pentagon?
Oh, well,
worldwide.
Did you see him at the Vikings game?
No. What about the Vikings game?
He just looked like a normal dude having fun.
Minnesota Vikings?
Mm-hmm.
Where they were playing the Redskins? Or what do they call them?
Commanders. Or the commies, as we like to call them when we lived there.
I was going to call them the Commodores, which is, of course, would probably, frankly, be a better name for the Washington Redskins football team than the Commanders, but whatever. Anyway, no, I didn't see him, but
so
good for him.
that is my first story about what he's doing with the military.
What do we know, Joan?
I'm going to tell you in the news.
Oh, man.
Dan. But I also, so I'm going to tell you in the news, but I have a little bit of inside scoop-ish about that.
Okay. Go ahead.
If I tell you now, then it'll invalidate my story.
Joan, I'd like to tell you something about what we call in the radio business PPM.
Tease.
PPM.
PPM. Go ahead.
People like to know right away. Right away. Like, there's no teases. You got to tell people, like, right away.
I like teases. I'm in the news business.
Fine, whatever. So I'm just kind of talking out my arse there, just so you know.
The other story that I have for you is about
Yes.
a woman who rented a house and it was a scam and she lost money.
Okay.
Interesting. And it's happening around here, so something to be aware of.